So we're talking to Louise, who is part station owner at Goodwood Station, correct?
Yes.
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 So you run sheep here,
We do. Yes, we run Doonies.
Dooney. So that's a crossbreed, is it?
Sort of. It's not your traditional crossbreed. It's a South African meat merino crossed a long way back in the genetics. Yep.
Right. So it's mainly for meat,
No,
uh,
we grow it for wool.
for wool.
Yeah, Doonies produce wool as well.
Okay. And has this station always run sheep? Has there been anything else run on it?
I'm pretty sure mainly sheep. Yeah. It's been in our family with a third generation. So third generation meat and wool producers with sheep.
Yes.
I think probably sporadically there've been a few cattle spread about. Obviously rangeland goats and a few feral horses and the like. But yeah, mainly sheep.
Right. So Goodwood Station is about 50 minutes from White Cliffs. Would that be back right?
Yeah. It's about
Thereabouts.
50 kilometres. So if the road's been graded, you can do it in about 35. If the
Yeah.
road's not graded, it takes about 45 or 50 minutes.
Right.
Yeah.
So are you often affected by the road conditions here? Are you reined in or cut off at any time?
Oh, look, we can be, but it's quite stony sort of country between here and Whitecliff. So yeah, we don't get cut off for very long. I think in 2011 or 2012 they had to helicopter supplies in because we couldn't get in for 10 days, and
Right.
I'd ordered supplies but couldn't get them, and so we ended up with baby formula and things like that on the helicopter, which was pretty cool.
Yeah, that would have been exciting.
Yeah, it was. My eldest was, gosh, she would have only been nearly 3, I think, and yeah, she still remembers the helicopter because Papa, my father-in-law,
Yes.
he was helping the SES with all the supply drops, so he was on the chopper. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So tell us about the history of Goodwood. How did you come to? It's been in the family for a while.
It has, yeah. It's been in the family. We're the third generation, so our kids will be fourth generation. After the Second World War, some of the bigger runs out here were subdivided by the government, and they had a ballot. And if your name was drawn out of a ballot, there were a certain number of blocks that were up for grabs, and you could
Big project.
Yeah, it was a big project. So Papa Jim's name was in the ballot, and he drew it, and he chose Goodwood because it was the only place within Cooey of Whitecliffs that had permanent water supply at the time.
Right.
And it had an old well down the creek, and so he and his wife Rita, they moved here. Old Nana's ashes are in the garden bed behind us. We've got
Okay.
a little headstone in the garden bed with
Yeah,
her
right.
ashes. So yeah, they moved out here in about 51, I think, and then they built the house that we have here in 53, 54. It was a third of their wall check at the time. I think it cost something like £10,000 or something like that,
Yeah.
which was a lot of money at the time.
Of course, yeah.
It was considered a luxury dwelling because it's on a cement slab. So they actually brought in.
Particularly out here.
Yeah, like a lot of houses obviously are on stumps of one sort or another, but this house here, so I think, according to my father-in-law, they brought in 100 tonne of dirt to build up the area to actually be able to put a house and a garden on,
Wow.
and then they spent a third of their wool check, and I think don't know that we could even get a decent 2-bedroom little transportable these days for
No.
a third of the wool check. So
That sort of money. And
yeah, we have. It's got a new roof, and we've got air conditioning, and all
Yeah.
the louvers are now windows instead of louvers. Thank
Yeah.
goodness, because I don't know that I'd still be
It's
here.
been modernised.
It's been very.
Fifty
It's been
story, yeah.
50 pretty well modernised. Yeah. So, my husband's uncle and aunt lived here for 20 odd years, I think. And they did a bit of work to it in the 80s and 90s, I think. And then we've come along and done a little bit. So we've save some money, do some work, save some money, do some work,
Yeah.
just like anywhere else, I guess.
So you've got plenty of water here for washing, either drinking water or rainwater.
We ran out of rainwater last year. Yeah, towards the end. I mean, we're still officially, I think, in drought, and we're slowly coming out of it. And so we ran out of rainwater, and we had an old rainwater tank at the side of the house, and we were gifted 2 tanks which was just absolutely amazing because the old
Yeah.
one was pretty ordinary. And when we ran out of water, my husband put these two in, and we actually ended up with we carted water for the first time in forever, I think.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was about to ask if you ever had to cart it in.
Yep.
Yeah. So once only.
Just once
Only
yeah,
in
we're pretty
12 years, you said you've been here.
pretty lucky just to have them once only, yeah.
Yeah.
But and so now we've got 2 rainwater tanks instead of 1, so it doubles our storage.
It's a precious commodity, hey? Water.
Well, it is a precious commodity, yeah. I mean, we're pretty lucky where we are in the landscape because we've got, the dams that we do have. We call them tanks, ground tanks, but the dams that we do have, you don't need lots and lots of water to be able to actually put water in them because of the slope and the soil type and the amount of and the stones that we have and etc. But yeah, my heart goes out to the people that live on really flat landscapes and have had to sink bores and do all those sorts of things as well. So we nearly ran out of water in our house dam.
Yep.
But yeah, it rained just in time.
Do you do remote learning here, I'm assuming?
We do, yes. We have a schoolroom in the house. It's on the veranda, so we've enclosed the veranda and put a schoolroom in. My daughter is in Year 7 this year, so she's doing a pilot program through Cal Rossi in Tamworth, and it's called eCal Rossi.
Right.
So it's the first year that they've done e-learning at Cal Rossi. It's working out pretty good. And my son is in grade 4 and he's still at School of the Air based in Broken Hill.
Right.
Yeah.
And where do you go for your supplies? Because you're a fair way from anywhere here, really.
Yeah, or we always say we're in the arse end of nowhere, but it's really the middle of everywhere in some instances.
Yeah.
Broken Hill mainly, yeah. If we're travelling, we'll get supplies elsewhere, but we try and get our fruit and veg locally, and that comes up from the market in Adelaide once a fortnight.
Okay. Yeah. So you don't have to often have to drive to Broken Hill to get stuff occasionally, but it can vary, obviously.
It does vary, yes. I love Amazon. I get a lot
Okay.
I can get a lot on Amazon in
Yep.
just basic staples, especially for the station stay. Cleaning equipment and toilet paper and things like that. It's really easy and free delivery, and it comes to the door basically. So that works out really really well. Like the internet is really great for buying supplies as well. But we try and do support local if we can.
So the NBN has made a difference there. That would have made a big difference in the early years when internet wasn't an issue, and to get things would have been much more difficult in the very early times.
NBN, yeah. Well, we were on satellite internet, and then we had the internet, like Wi-Fi through the mobile phone tower, and it sufficed. And we went to Sky Muster Plus this year, which is the new satellite internet with NBN.
Yep.
Yeah, so we've got 300 gig, and my daughter uses it for school, which is one of the reasons that we actually changed, was because we needed something that was consistent and constant.
Excellent. Now, you're often station stays, because obviously we're here at the moment. What sort of accommodation do you offer? We're camping. Do you offer any other type of accommodation?
Oh, we do. We've got rooms down at the shearers' quarters, so we have twin single accommodation, and people can book it and use their own linen or bedding, or we can supply bedding for them. So we can sleep up to 10 fairly comfortably. We've also got a camper trailer for anyone that needs to hire it out as well, and we just offer, camping is powered or unpowered, or self-contained or non-self-contained.
So you pretty well suit any situation, really, based on that. You've covered the whole gambit pretty well. You got linen or no linen, or camping or power or no power.
Yeah.
So and of course I know we had a lovely roast dinner last night, so that's another service that you offer. Do you offer that often?
Not often, no. I mean, well, having said that, I offered during school holiday periods, we offer something like that when we're here a lot of the time, but I sort of has to work in with my schedule as well, my work schedule. So if I'm not here, obviously I can't offer it. But last year we didn't, obviously due to COVID.
Yes.
So this year we've sort of putting feelers out for people, but we're getting some really really lovely groups of people, and it's all about having them at our house in our surroundings, and having a chat to them and finding out about them and them finding out about us, and the kids having a play together because we've got a couple of kids, and backyard cricket and all those sorts of things. So it's worked out well so far.
I know there are other station stays, but have you been doing it long?
Well, we opened up in 2014 and we were open for 3 years, and then when the drought sort of really quite set in 17, 18, we were like, ooh, maybe not.
Right.
We ran out of water down at the shearers' quarters, and it just was quite dusty, and it was really hard to sort of, just keep up with the general running of the place, let alone looking after people and their needs. Which was a shame because Whitecliffs was still getting a lot of visitors, but we were feeding sheep all the time and checking waters every day and all of those sorts of things. So we stopped the station stay for 3 years, and then we were all geared up to open again last year, and COVID hit, and we were like, oh, do we, don't we? And then once, I think everyone worked out their border issues and boundaries and things like that, so we just said, no, we'll just do it. We're set up, we'll do it, and we did, and we just met some really, really lovely and amazing people last year.
Yeah. And do you plan to do it 12 months a year, or are there times when you don't do it?
No. We sort of, traditionally we would open in the April school holidays, and then we'd close at the end of October. So last year, it didn't really get hot in October. It didn't get hot till sort of November, December, and even then it wasn't consistently hot. So we sort of left the campgrounds or the camping areas open until mid to late November. And we had a couple of groups book in the last week in March this year. So I said, yep, we'll open a week early and do that.
That's good. And I know one of your other jobs that you do is land care. So what project have you got on there at the moment?
Oh, we've got a lot of projects on in the Western region. So our region covers 42% of the state. So it's a fairly big region, yeah. So we employ 3 coordinators and a project officer, and then myself and another girl. We're looking at soil erosion and soil carbon projects. We've got pest animal projects on the go. We've got wild dog trapping schools for people, pig projects, weed projects. So it's
Trying to get the fly.
So it's quite varied. Yeah, very varied.
So busy between sheep and mother and accommodation and land care. Do you have any time to yourself?
Not very often. No. Not very often. Every now and again, I just shoo my kids out the door with my husband so he can take them fencing or something, and then can go and argue out in the paddock and give me a couple of hours, but it doesn't happen very often these days.
Well, fencing could take a while because you're up to close to 90,000 acres, is that right?
We are, yep, just under 90,000 acres. So we've done a lot of fencing. We've been here for 12 years and we've done lots and lots and lots of fencing.
Well, thank you. It's a great place to stay, and yes, hopefully it gets better for you, and more people coming up, and everything gets good. Thanks for talking to us.
No, thank you very much. It's it's a real pleasure, and we just want to meet people and talk to them and educate them and show them what we can do and what we're doing well.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you.